Welcome. What you should be seeing on screen is a screen that you're already familiar with. It is a registration site for the Collegiate DECA stock market game. It's deca.smgww.org. And I'm going to highlight it here so you can see it. I don't know how large it is on your screen, but it's pretty tiny here. So it's deca.smgww.org. The Collegiate DECA stock market game shares the same registration site as the high school stock market game. Um, Therefore, it's doubly important that you read the site carefully. Underneath the registration button are 4 tabs. Probably the one that you'd be most concerned with is the competitive divisions tab. There are instructions for the high school DECA, and underneath there are instructions for the collegiate DECA. All right, so please read these carefully. There's a separate prize structure for the collegiate DECA stock market game. And then, we can, we'll be sending out emails regularly about that. You will be recognized. I believe the top 3 teams, and I'll check on that with Ryan Witzig from DECA. The collegiate DECA information is here. All right. This is the competitive divisions tab that gives you basically the dates of the game. The game ends November 18th. The last day to enter trades is November 17th. We'll discuss why a little later in the program. Okay, very important program dates. The Collegiate DECA stock market game began September 12th and will end November 18th. It is a shorter window than a high school stock market game. This is the webinar and the registration deadline. If you know of friends or if you are an advisor and have students who would like to participate, October 11th is the registration deadline. And then your first trade must be entered by October 31st. Portfolios that are inactive after October 31st will be automatically deleted. Okay, and then the last trade date, November 17th. You're playing a real-time stock market game with your students, and here are the participation requirements. The Collegiate DECA stock market game has many of the same rules as the high school, and I just actually saw a typo because you guys will not be going to the ICDC. This is a typo over here, and I will remove this after this call. It's important that you read these rules and are familiar with them. It's your responsibility to be familiar with these rules, and I will show you where to find them when we log into the student portfolio and the teacher support center. I should also add that it is the advisor that must submit the registration. By targeting the advisor, by making them a key player, was best because of their intimacy with the students, or because they know what the student schedules are and what the students hope to get out of it. They would be the professors, the DECA advisors would be the best source to help us disseminate the messaging about the stock market game. So those are the participation requirements. I should add at this point, if you are already registered for the Collegiate DECA stock market game and you would like to add more teams, please write me, email me. Do not submit a new registration. What happens is when you submit a duplicate registration is when I send broadcast email messages out, it's based off of an email list, and if your name appears more than once, the system will try to send you that message more than once. In doing so, your local network server might see my email as spam and will block me, therefore stopping me from being able to get you any kind of messaging, or for example, team IDs. If I send out team IDs, it gets sent to you twice. Your university email believes it's spam, it blocks it, so then you never get your IDs. IDs and passwords, now that the window has started, are usually sent out within 24 hours. When you register successfully as an advisor, you get your ID as soon as you hit that submit button, as soon as you receive a message that your registration has been successfully submitted. Your team IDs and passwords are sent to you the following morning. It takes a 24-hour process, or I should say an overnight process, to set up the cash balance in the student portfolios. Each student starts their portfolio, or each team, I should say, begins their portfolio with $100,000 in cash. Now that cash earns interest, I believe 0.75% interest daily. So, and that's calculated. I believe that's calculated at the end of the week as well. So, if you have registered early and have received your team ID and passwords, when your students first log in, they might see a little bit more than $100,000 in their portfolio because that cash balance has been earning interest. And that might be very well be part of the strategy as well. Okay, so you register at deca.smgww.org. You log in at stockmarketgame.org. Okay, so this is the website that you log in at. I'm going to go ahead and click login, and we're going to start right off with the student portfolios. This is a little bit different to how I did it with the high school students, but oops, we're going to start off right there because I wanted to be able to show you the trades. In the Collegiate DECA stock market game, we require to hold the three major types of securities: a stock investment, a bond investment, and a mutual fund investment. And I'm going to demonstrate those trades for you right now. So you log into your portfolio. Give it a moment. So this is the front page of a team portfolio. The advisor does not get a team portfolio. They are unable to trade. If you would like one, write me and I'll create a special class called Advisor, and I'll create a portfolio for you so that you can trade alongside your students. That said, currently everyone's everyone is in the same region. There's one national region. Once the competition begins, I would separate out advisor IDs from, advisor teams, like professor teams or teacher teams, from the student teams. And so when you click region, you would see Collegiate DECA National, and then that's how you'd be ranked. And Collegiate DECA National would have all of the teams registered. The coordinator rankings would show you all of the teams competing in the Collegiate DECA stock market game, regardless of whether you were in the Collegiate DECA region or the advisor region. All right, so that's how you see how you compare to all of the teams registered in the current competition window. Right, the state does not mean anything in this case because we have everyone grouped in one national region. Right, this may change in the future, but for right now, everyone's grouped in the same region. So I want to point out that as much fun as we have with the stock market game, we are a teaching tool. Each page of the portfolio has its own help page. So we're in the what they call the account analyzer page right now, or the welcome page of the portfolio. So if you click this, it will bring up an annotated help pages that would describe each of the options in the portfolio. For example, if I click 2, it'll bring me right down to a description of what values of shorts, buyer margin requirement, and available equity is, and provide you with the formulas. Okay, that information is also available here. Right, those words in blue are clickable. And if you click them, it'll bring up a help section. Okay, so end of the day, we are a learning tool or a teaching tool. So I saw a hand raised. Dale, I'm gonna unmute you, and then you can go ahead and ask your question. Okay, Dale.
Hello.
Hi, Dale.
Hey, how's it going? I have a quick question. So, even though I'm in college but not a staff member for like faculty teacher wise, could I still participate as a college student?
That's a Ryan question. Ryan?
Okay, I guess I would just need clarification. Are you a current Collegiate DECA member, though?
No, ma'am. I used to be in high school a DECA member, and so my college doesn't associate with DECA for some reason. So,
So you can so at the end, Vincent's going to share my email address. I would just email me. You can become a virtual member of Collegiate
okay,
DECA, and we can get you set up so you can participate still.
okay, sounds good. I know when I participated in high school, I wound up taking like second state of Wyoming, like top 100 nation, so
Well,
for
yeah, so
virtual
we
based
absolutely,
sports.
right. So we definitely, there are opportunities for you to
Okay,
participate. So just stay tuned for the rest of the webinar. And when Vincent puts my information up, shoot me a direct email and we'll get you all set up, okay?
okay, sounds good. Thanks, Ryan.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks for the question. In fact, Ryan, I'm going to put your information up now. Each page of the portfolio. I want to jump right. Oh, before we begin, one of the things I forgot to mention: as you're completing the registration form, the highest grade, when you ask for grade level, the highest grade it will go to is high school. Don't worry about it. Select grade 12. I make the change on this end to post-secondary. Um, and so that for that for that reason, just go ahead. Don't let that stop you. You will have to enter your student's name when you register. However, if it to add or remove students, or to switch students around or to add teams, email me. Do not fill out a separate registration form. Um, once they receive their IDs and passwords, I encourage them to log in, uh, and we're going to go directly to the trade screen. Okay. There are three types of transactions in the stock market game: stocks, mutual funds, and bonds. As a part of the competition, just as a challenge, but also so students are familiar with all three types of assets, um, we require that they have at least one stock investment, one mutual fund investment, and one bond investment in their portfolios. All right, so we're going to go ahead with the stock trade first. The stock trade is the most direct. I'm going to go ahead and trade IBM. So this stock portfolio allows you to buy, sell, to short sell, and to short cover. If you do not know what short selling and short cover are, we have lessons available for you. I'm not going to go over them now, but I will send them to you. I will show you how to access them in the Teacher Support Center. Only advisors have access to the Teacher Support Center. So I'm going to show you that there. Okay. Also, there is a 1% fee and commission charged on all transactions. I answered several emails this morning from distraught students who said we were pricing their stocks wrong. In fact, I'm going to go there right now so I can show you. This is your account holdings page. Your account holdings page shows you all of the stocks all of the assets in your portfolio, and it breaks it down in this nice little kind of pie chart into stocks, mutual funds, and bonds. If I had cash balance, it'd be reflected here too. Okay, but if you can notice here, I'm in the negatives in terms of cash balance. All right. This net cost per share has folded into it that 1% fee and commission. Now we charge a 1% fee to provide a little bit of a challenge. Okay, so students must be a little more strategic than just going up and buying securities willy-nilly. And I explained last week that the goal, again, we're a teaching tool, so the goal is to get students to think about their actions before they act. Much like any other game, any other sport or game, there are rules. You can't just, in tennis, you just can't whack the ball. You have to whack the ball within the right line. In football, it has to go, when you go for a field goal, it just can't go up in the air. That ball needs to go in between the posts. We're trying to attempt the same thing here in the sense that, okay, we let you know, here's a little handicap. Whenever you make a trade, there's a 1% charge per trade, whether you buy or sell any transaction. On the plus side, your cash balance is earning 0.75% interest, right, to help you along. When you buy stock, you may want to look at a dividend stock that pays out during the course of the game, that has a payout date during the course of the game. If you buy a bond, you may want to buy a bond that, also has a coupon payment during the course of the game. All these kind of strategic things help students think much more about their actions before they actually take it. So I showed you this here. So these numbers have the 1% broker's fee attached to it. If I wanted to see all this broken out, I would go to transaction history. Transaction history shows you everything, including corporate actions, including buys and sells that you initiated, interest paid, interest charged, anything that impacts your portfolio will appear in transaction history. And transaction history, I'll give you a month, like the current month, but you can go back as far as you need. Let's say I want to go back to August. This portfolio is a test portfolio, so it's been around for quite some time. I would change the begin date, I'll end today. I'll click search. I'll give me all the activities that have happened. If you were wondering what some of the symbols meant, click the scripted eye, right, and it'll tell you. In particular here, the transaction type. Okay. All right. So that's transaction history. All right. Make use of these. These are here. We put them in. They're very helpful. If you see blue, you should be able to click on them. But okay, in most cases. So let's go back to trade. We're going to enter a trade for IBM. So type in my ticker. You know what? IBM's a bad choice because you know what? IBM is IBM. We go Warmont. Okay. You know what? Let's do Disney. We type in the name of the company, and then go search by ticker symbol. If you know the ticker symbol, you can search by company name. Assume I did not know the ticker symbol for Disney. I type in the company name and I click search by company name. Okay. This will come up with a list of results. Okay. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. In this case, it's less. Disney. If we want to check the symbol, we click the symbol here. Now, let's say we're not sure. There's no indication. Let me just go back. There's no indication that this is actually Walt Disney Co. I don't know. It could be a class B stock or a class A, or we want a class C. Okay. So we click the ticker symbol. It changes it here in our box. And I want to go validate the ticker. Validate the ticker ensures that this is indeed the ticker that you want. Okay. Walt Disney Company 9239. Right, the previous close, the volume, and the shares outstanding. Okay. Let's say we're going to buy 100 shares. Right. The stock market game the collegiate stock market game trades in real time. That means you get the price of the transaction at the time it's executed. Two things to keep in mind. There's a 15 to 20 minute, number one being there's a 15 to 20 minute delay on price reporting. And that's normal throughout the retail sites. Like Yahoo Finance, Bloomberg, there's always a 15-minute delay. Okay, so the price being reported on the stock market website may not be exactly, consider that it's not exact. Number two, portfolio pages, with the exception of transaction notes, update nightly. Transaction notes is the only page that updates in real time. And finally, the third thing, limit price does not function as it would in the real world. We are looking into it to having it do so, but until then, I do not recommend you set a limit price because there's a 15-minute delay and it's really like hitting a moving target. 9.9 times out of 10, a team that enters a limit price trade will have it rejected for the price being too far away from market. Um, it's frustrating. Your teams may try it as a challenge, but I don't recommend it. It just the system's not set up to accommodate a limit price. The limit price is there to accommodate the end of day pricing games that most of the middle schools and elementary schools use. With our moving over to a real-time system, it becomes it needs to be reevaluated. Okay, and limit orders do not hold over the course of time. They disappear if they're unexecuted. I'm sorry, they're executed as soon as they're entered. If the values aren't met, they do not hold. They have to be re-entered. Therefore, it's too much of a hit and miss and too frustrating a situation. Stick with the market pricing. Okay, that in itself, it's exciting enough. So back to what we're doing. We're going to buy 100 shares of Disney. I preview the trade and I re-enter my password. One of the things I will not do, unless it can be proven to me that it was that a trade was entered in another person's portfolio maliciously, I will not invalidate a trade. Unless it's a system error, I will not cancel the trade or remove it because we have so many we have this stop gap, this kind of like condition. You have to physically enter your password again. So that means it is a moment for you to review your trade to make sure that it is exactly what you want. All right, we want 100 shares of Disney. I enter my password. I'm a confirm trade. Okay, so we're entering it at the market's close. So technically, it's only it's 429. But so this trade will receive tomorrow's opening price, and it will not appear in the portfolio until Monday. Right? Remember, because portfolios update overnight. I should actually clarify by saying the business night as opposed to like a weekend. Right? So your portfolio will update. I'm sorry, Disney will appear in my portfolio on Monday. It will get Monday morning. I'm sorry, get Friday morning's opening price and end up in transaction notes, but it will not show up in the account holdings until Monday morning. Okay. So that's where we are. Let's go to transaction notes. Right. So it's not. It will not show up here until tomorrow morning. Okay, when the trade is executed. Right, I'm going to do a mutual fund trade. All right. With mutual funds, they trade exactly the same way as stocks. There is a 1% charge to buy or sell. And I should add, I've been asked, do ETFs, exchange traded funds, count as mutual funds? The answer is no, because ETFs trade in the very same manner as stocks. They are priced at the time of purchase, and they follow the same rules that stocks do. Mutual funds price as they do in the real world at the close of market. So the mutual fund trade I enter today will get Friday afternoon's price, okay, because the market's closed, right, and will not appear in my portfolio until Monday morning. So I've been choosing Fidelity. It's just the easiest choice. Okay, we enter the name of the fund family. I'm going to search by mutual fund description. Okay. We're just going to choose a first fund. In fact, if we wanted to know a little bit more about it, we click and we can validate mutual fund, make sure it's the one we want, right? If we want to know a little bit more about the fund, I recommend Morningstar. They're a good resource. I mean, that's how they built their name, is their fund allocation boxes. Now, if you were inclined to, you can buy the premium Morningstar, but I don't recommend it. You don't need it for the stock market game. So let me just grab the ticker one more time. So if you're only if you know what it is, you don't need to go on the step. But if you're curious as to what the Flex Fidelity Advisor Limited Term Bond Fund had inside, okay, click it. And if you scroll on here, it will tell you what's in the top holdings in the fund. Okay, so it's a nice way to learn about mutual funds and how they differ. Know that this does not qualify because this holds bonds does not count as a bond transaction. All right, so ETFs do not count as mutual funds, and bond funds do not count as bonds. ETFs are ranked as stocks, so they behave the same way. Bond funds behave as mutual funds, as funds. They behave the same way. Right? I'm going to go ahead and close this. I'm just going to buy. I bought 100. I'm going to buy another 100. Okay. The minimum number of shares, and I need to check this. And actually, this is actually in the rules of a stock or mutual fund. I believe it's 3 shares. Okay, that's the minimum number of stocks or mutual funds that you can buy. Okay, so I'm going to buy 100. Go ahead, preview the trade. This is what I want. ABC. All right, I'm typing my password, and then we'll confirm the trade. Okay. Again, I'm getting this message because the markets are closed. The markets are open from 9:30 to 4, Monday through Fridays, barring market holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving. Okay. And we're going to go back and we're going to finally enter a bond trade. Bond trades, bonds are the, I like to think of bonds as the antithesis of stocks, being that they're a debt security. When you buy a stock, you actually own part of the company. When you buy a bond, you are loaning money to the issuer, be that the federal government, the city government, or local city government, or a corporation. Okay, there are a variety of reasons that where corporations will issue bonds instead of stocks. One of them being voter rights, right? Because when you own a stock, you actually are a partner in that company. So to trade a bond, you don't enter anything first. You click bond symbol. The stock market game offers about 5,000 to 8,000 investment grade bonds, and investment grade bonds are bonds that are low risk and have a S&P rating, I believe, of a B and better. Okay, so to search corporate bonds, you would select the first initial of the corporation. We're going to choose C. We're going to look for Campbell Soup. Okay, we're going to choose C, and we're going to click Search Corporate Bonds. Now, sometimes if the list is very long, if there are a lot of C bonds or bonds that begin with C, it can take a little while to load. And here's the Campbell Soup bond. One of the, as I mentioned earlier, one of the strategies to buying a bond is to buy one with a payout date that's within the game period. Let's go ahead and click the symbol. The other thing special about bonds in the stock market game is that these symbols, these bond symbols, are unique to the stock market game. In the real world, you would identify bonds by QSIM number. Here in the stock market game, because bonds, to make them easier to identify, we've created these special bond symbols. Okay. Well, and the next payment date is February 15th, so this wouldn't be a bond you would want, maybe, though the interest rate is pretty good. Okay. So that's one. We just kind of click through to find one that we liked, and then ideally would pay out during the course of the competition. So we're gonna take a look at municipal bonds. And click bond symbol again, and select the postal initials For your state, we're going to choose New York. We're going to search municipal bonds. And we're going to support a school. I mean, actually, we're going to do the airport. What I believe is the Albany County New York Airport Authority, or ARPT. I'm going to assume that's airport. Um, and so now this has a next payment date in December, which is which, oh, I know, it's after your thing. So it's closer, but we will find one that will pay out during your competition. Okay, so let's go ahead and buy this one. We can actually just kind of click trade and buy it here. Bond trade and dollar amounts. I believe the minimum dollar amount for a municipal bond is $100. Let me try that. Oh, wrong. Okay, corporate municipal $1,000. So I'm wrong. So you want to buy $1,000 worth of this municipal bond. We're going to preview the bond trade. Right? This is what we want. We're going to enter our password again. Now, at any point, you can't go back and enter it to say 2,000 or more, right? Because bonds have to trade in increments of 1,000 and minimum of $1,000. But we're just going to confirm for time's sake. Again, we get that same message. Now, I want to go to pending, because you'll see in pending, right, that even though the markets are closed, it's both the bond and mutual fund are listed in pending, as well as Disney, right? Disney will disappear tomorrow morning. These will remain. Okay. Pending transactions or transactions that haven't occurred yet. And if you had any questions, you would click the I. All right. So if you wanted to know where to start, I'm in portfolio. I'm going to click top holdings. Holdings list the most popular stocks within the window, within the competition that you're playing in. So in the National DECA stock market game, if this ID were for that, it would show you the hottest stocks right now based on current value. Okay. We can also look at volume. Okay. We can also look for mutual funds and the three different bond types, three different bond types: federal, corporate, and municipal bonds, or just simply look at all bonds. So if you were looking for a place to start to do your research, top holdings, checking out what other people are doing in the competition might be a nice way to do it. I wanted to show you on the resources, rules of the game. The stock market game is a national program, so we have we have a base set of rules. Now that we're here, we can actually look up the minimum required purchase for a bond, and then the types of bonds, right? Right here. Okay. All stock and mutual fund buy orders must be a minimum of 10 shares. And treasury bond, municipal and corporate bonds are $1,000. Treasury bonds are $100 minimum increment in terms of purchases. Okay. It's important that you familiarize yourself with the rules. That one of the worst feelings in the world is to have to disqualify a team for not following the rules. Now, we're not in a DECA portfolio, but in the DECA portfolio, click local rules. Local rules will show you rules that are specific to the Collegiate DECA competition. So that's what you need to pay attention to. Okay, the local rules, as well as the general ones. But if you played the stock market game before, the general rules haven't changed in ages. It's the local rules that will determine, that will tell you what you need to do in order for your portfolio to win the competition. Here we go. All right. What happened is the caps lock was on, and this keyboard that I'm using does not have a way. The light, there's no little light that goes on to let me know that it's on. So I apologize for that. Um, this is the Teacher Support Center. This is where you'll find all the teaching materials. We talked earlier about short selling. So if we were to go ahead and type in short and click search, it should come up with the short selling documents. Okay, and these are some of the documents that are available to you. If you were looking, in your case, for a publication, right, which are newsletters, one-page handouts about a certain subject or piece of content, click publications and it'll give you all the documents about short selling. Okay. Sometimes the more general you are, the better results. Just like a search on Google or Amazon, I typed in short sell, the results change. If I type in quotes, like the old style, those of you who remember the early days of Yahoo or Netscape, the Boolean language, it makes the results much more exact, right? So, but you can always go back. If the results are too narrow, aren't what they want, go back, be more vague. Okay, and then even bigger. So there's another video that we did, a little training that we did that's more specific, that goes into greater detail about the Teacher Support Center. I just wanted to let you know that it's out there. So one of the things that, you can walk, and actually kind of walk through every section. I just want to highlight the sections I feel are the most important. One of the things I tell Collegiate DECA advisors is that if they do not check their email often, but yet have students who are very excited to play the game, they may consider emailing me and adding their student's email address as an alternate email address. This way, when I send a message out, you both get it. Okay, it goes to two people. Now, I need to be very careful about this, because if the student has access to the Teacher Support Center, that student has access to every portfolio that's registered under your name. And by access, I mean they can actually go into a portfolio and make a trade. So here's the portfolio we were in earlier. And I can actually go ahead and enter a trade. All right? So be very careful. It is an option available to you. You can have these students' email address as an alternate, but no, if you ask me to send you your IDs and passwords again for your students, that alternate email will get it also. So please be thoughtful before you ask me to add. Okay, so I want to show you that. Okay, if I close that, I want to show you if you have an issue with your portfolio. Please use it. You can email me, certainly. But sometimes when teachers email me, they forget. I run a national program. In addition to Collegiate DECA, I also run the high school DECA competition, which is pretty large. And so to help me provide you with an answer quicker, the help desk function forces you to put your email in a template. You tell me what kind of problem you're having, identifying the team having that problem. It might be you. Maybe you're looking for information, and you provide me with a detailed description. So it locks you into this template. However, because I have your portfolio, because I have your user ID, it makes it easier for me to find you and to actually research the issue. Okay, so I'm going to go here, rules of the game, and teacher's guide. You may, because of your situation, I'm not sure how you're using the stock market game. If you're using it as a part of a class or part of an elective or just something that's voluntary, we have these guides that you may actually print out for your students for them to kind of walk through. End of the day, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, we're a teaching tool. Right? So we want students to be more comfortable with the capital markets, with how investing works, and just experiencing the markets, watching them move. Rules of the game. You too, as the advisor, should be familiar with the rules. If you have any questions, email me. You can use the help desk form. You can ask, I have a question about this rule. The rules are a little windy because they're rules. We want to account for every instance. So if you have a question, please feel free to email me about the rules. And again, just this is the same rules page that students see in their portfolios. You will click local rule. These are general rules for the stock market game. You will click local rules for rules specific to the DECA stock market, specific to the Collegiate DECA stock market game. All right. So that pretty much concludes the tour. Anything that stems from the online portfolio, email me. Questions about the DECA rules, DECA membership. Questions specific to DECA should be addressed to Ryan Widzig. Oops, I switched the. I spelled Ryan's name wrong. I apologize. Thank you. I spelled it right up here, but I messed up her email address. So let me just make it big. Her email address is Ryan_Witzig, WITZIG. I had switched the letters around at DECA.org. So I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank you actually more so for participating in this kind of inaugural fall collegiate stock market game. You guys are the first set. I'm sorry, I received the question. It would be here. Look, go to deca.smgww.org, click program dates. The competition period for the collegiate DECA stock market game appears here. It's a little hard to read because there's no differentiation in text. We're looking into that, but it began September 12th and runs through November 18th. Hopefully that answers your question. All right, so and then I'll send out a separate email message with just important dates to remember. Happily for you, it's much easier to remember. Many fewer important dates than the ICD than the high school DECA. Right now, high school and collegiate are sharing a registration page, but as the collegiate DECA game grows, we'll expand. We'll provide it with his own website possibly. Okay, so again, thank you again.